Alright, welcome aboard everybody. Okay, welcome for the duration of this ride. My last personal count was we had 7 calves, but I'm told we have 11 because it's like every day we get a new one. So, ostriches and emus. These are the South American ragtime. They stand about 5 feet tall. They're all gray, but the males have a black band around their neck. They run about 35 miles an hour, and they use their wings as rudders when they run. Next, coming up over here, we have our Roosevelt elk. They're all in the water over here. The Roosevelt elk are named after Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th president of the United States. You'll notice when you look at our males here, the bucks, that their antlers are covered in a thin layer of skin that we call velvet. That velvet helps them to grow their antlers. They lose their antlers once a year and then they regrow them. When they're done growing their antlers, they'll rub that velvet off by rubbing their antlers on the trees that are around the property. That's why you see our trees around the property are protected by this wire mesh.
Bye, Manu. Bye, Manu. Okay. You happy?
There we have a Peruvian llama. Peruvian llamas are a pack animal used by those who explore the Andes Mountains in South America. They can carry about 100 pounds of gear. Over here we have a couple of rhea eggs just hanging out over here. Then we have some males who are sitting on some rhea eggs as well. Well, they should. Anybody know what a llama does as a defense mechanism? They spit, but they don't spit spittle. They spit a bile from their stomach. That bile is sticky, viscous, smelly, will stain your clothes, ruin your day. Get it in your eyes, you have temporary blindness. Does anybody know what happens if you get stuck between 2 llamas? You get laminated. So that child really needs to be seated on. What's happening is it is mating season, and the males are making roosts, little nests around the property. And they're going to try and get their wings out and spread their wings and push all the females over to where they made a nest, trying to encourage them to lay their eggs there. If the female lays their eggs there, he becomes a daddy. And then when the eggs hatch, he'll get up and get something to eat for the first time. And then he'll come back and help rear the young. Meantime, the mother's nowhere to be found. She's a true deadbeat bomb. She's laid her eggs, she's done. Actually, the whole story is a lot more promiscuous than I'm allowed to tell you.
Oh, baby.
You'll see these barns throughout the property over here. And the reason for those barns is if the weather turns, we have a place for these animals to go for safety. There's also some area back there for vet. Over here at the top of the hills are European fallow deer. European fallow deer were introduced into this country as a game species. An adult fallow deer looks like the fawn of a white-tailed deer, and they look that way their entire lives. But there's one lady in that herd right there. She's all white, but she's not albino, she's leucistic. What it means is she cannot produce that brown pigmentation. Over there. And they're competing to be who's going to be the daddy. So whatever one gets up first is the one that wins, that loses. All right, we're coming to Africa. We're going to see our African elephants, we're going to see our white rhinos, our Grant zebras, and our Asian water buffalo. Other animals will follow those paths so that the water source, eating the smaller trees and shrubs on the way there. That's how the savannas of Africa have been created.
गाली गर्नुहुन्छ
अझै मलाई इलेफेन्ट खान चाहिँ त्यो तानि जान्छु मलाई जानु
Elephants have been hunted in near extinction for their ivory tusks. Their ivory tusks are elongations of their incisors. Their tusks can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh over 100 pounds. You'll notice our ladies have short tusks. The reason for that is they use their tusks to dig holes around the property. So they've worn their tusks down. The dominant tusk would be the shorter tusk. So I guess if they had two tusks the same length, they would be ambidextrous. They have prehensile trunks. Their prehensile trunks can pick up anything as small as a dime or as large as a tree. As we come around the corner over here, we're going to see our white rhinos. It's believed that the word white in the term white rhinos is a mispronunciation of the Dutch word for wide. And they would be called wide rhinos because their mouths are as wide as their face. They've been hunted to near extinction for those horns, but those aren't even true horns. The horns are made of keratin, just like our fingernails and our hair. And if you cut that horn off in the middle, it will grow back. But if you cut it off at the root, it will not, just like a fingernail. There we have our Grant zebras. Grant zebras are the smallest of the zebra species. Each zebra has a unique stripe pattern, just like we have a unique thumbprint. They form groups in the wild called dazzles. A dazzle will run a circle around the old and young when a predator approaches. Does anybody know if zebras are black with white stripes or white with black stripes? They're black with white stripes. We know that they have black skin because where the skin is exposed around the nose, just because we have our most water ponds for them to hang out in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 ponds for them to hang out in. They have an extra joint above their hooves called a fetlock. That fetlock gives them better traction when walking through the mud. I call that fetlock their 4-hoof drive. Zebras have never been domesticated because they're more closely related to donkeys, so they're very stubborn, kind of like my ex-wife. Don't anybody post that on the internet, please. As you come into the Wild Plains area, I want to point out we have a special treat for y'all. We have some ostrich chicks that were hatched here about 2.5 weeks ago. And they're probably hanging out with mom and dad at the top of the hill over there. That's a fallow deer and their fawn. That fawn is the male putting out his wings. Right behind him is his ostrich chicks. Those chicks are about 2.5 weeks old. They're super cute, aren't they? They've actually doubled in size since they were born. Or I should say hatched. Hatched. The next animal we see here is the Ellipsis waterbuck. They're called ellipsis because of the circle mark on the rear end. Looks like they sat in a freshly painted toilet seat. The other guys right there are the white-bearded mule, also called the blue wildebeest. The blue wildebeest leads the Great Migration across Africa. The Great Migration across Africa is a herd of several million individuals from about 70 different species. They go around Africa looking for food and water together. Very, very long period of time without a drink of water. They get a majority of the water that they need from the vegetation that they eat. Their kidneys are high, much water from their liquid waste as possible. Over there, those guys, that's the African bongo. African bongo is also known as the ghost of the jungle. Very little is known about the African bongo. Only thing we know about them we learned from having them in human care or observing at salt licks in the jungle. What we do know is they are crepusculous, and that means they're mostly. These guys over here are part of our bachelor herd. When you look at our mostly males over here, that some of them are darker than everybody else. That's because they're the opposite of leucistic. They're melanistic. They overproduce melanin. Genetomorphic means it's easy to tell the males from the females. We know that's a peacock because he's got that beautiful color cattle. Red color cattle are also called the Watusi cattle. They're prized by the Tutsi tribe in West Africa as a source of wealth. They're bred for those comically long horns. Those horns are actually hollow or honeycombed on the inside. In the summertime, they'll pump blood into those horns to cool off that blood, and then bring that cool blood back into the body to cool off the body. Over here we have a reticulated giraffe. And over there we have reticulated giraffes. They're called reticulated giraffes. They're 6 feet tall at the shoulders, and the necks are about 7 feet long. The human being has 7 vertebrae in their neck. How many vertebrae would you think a giraffe has? 7. Well, the vertebrae in my neck are about as thick as my thumb. Theirs are about a foot each. That's pretty incredible when you think about it, right? Over there we have the common eland. The common eland is the second largest of the antelope species. They can grow up to 2,200 pounds and when startled will jump up straight about 8 to 8.5 feet.
Baby.
A herd of giraffes is called a tower. As we come around the corner here, I'm going to point out our Savannah Sunset Resort and Spa. This is your glamping experience here at Six Flags. Glamping, for those who don't know, is glamorous camping. Each one of these tents is a hotel room with canvas walls. You have hot and cold running water, linen beds, air conditioning, all with canvas walls, so they call it a tent. Minimum of a 2-night spa back there as well. Sable antelope. Sable antelope is the bravest of the antelope species. When a predator approaches, they'll actually put their horns, face the predator, put their horns down, and as that predator pounces, they'll flip that predator over their back with their horns, hoping to stun the predator long enough for them to make a getaway. Addies are critically endangered. There's only about 30 to 90 of them living in the wild right now. They change colors according to the season. So in the winter months, they're that darker color that you see around their neck, and then in the summer months, they're bright white. They're actually transitioning to their bright white now. Many of our animals in the park are losing their winter coats. Still in the process of doing it. It seems kind of odd to me that they haven't done it yet. Over here we have the white-tailed gnu, also called the black wildebeest. The black wildebeest was thought to be extinct in the early 1900s, but ranchers in Africa had them living on their ranches. These guys over here and on the feeding trough over there are Udats. Udats are also called Barbary sheep. This is a bachelor herd. They're pretty related to mountain goats than they are sheep. They have a soft padding in their hooves that makes it easy for them to climb steep rocks. Those are all males. The males have thicker horns and they have that ulap in their front, all that hair on their chest and on their front quarters. Alright, does anybody know? We have 3 prides of lions here at Six Flags. Pride of Lions is a family unit. Each one of these prides is related to each other in some way. They're either aunts or uncles. Are easy to tell from the females in this case. Males have that big black bushy mane, and they need that big black bushy mane because their job is to protect the pride. So if another hyena or another lion comes in and threatens the pride, their job is to go out there and fight that hyena or lion. And that mane protects them in the fight. That mane protects their shoulder and their necks in that fight. A male lion will sleep 18 to 20 hours per day. A female lion will sleep 16 to 20 to 18 hours per day. In the wild, the females do all the hunting, but the males eat first, then the females eat, and then the cubs eat. Felines in general sleep a long time because their heart size is a little bit too small for their body size. So they tire very easily just trying to move. Alright, we're coming up to an area over here called Black Bear Ridge. Anybody have a guess what animal we're going to see in Black Bear Ridge?
Bear.
Black bears, yes. Black bears are of least concern on the endangered species list because they're found in 49 of the 50 states. Can anybody guess for me what one state of the union you will not find a wild black bear in? It's a hard question. You have to know your geography to know it. Hawaii. Why won't you find a wild black bear in Hawaii? Because they cannot afford the airfare. Bears have curved claws that make them very good at climbing trees. Whenever they're scared or startled, they'll climb a tree, and they won't come down until they feel safe. Black bears are opportunistic omnivores for the nuts, berries, fruits, and vegetables. Over here we have a mother and her 2 cubs. You can see one of the cubs in the back there. The other one's probably right next to him. These cubs were born here in the off season. A black bear that's a cinnamon color. Sometimes you come across them in a blonde color. And very rarely you come across them in an all white. That all white would be that leucistic color. The Native Americans would call that all white bear the spirit bear, saying that if you saw an all white black bear, you were being blessed by the Great Spirit. I tell you folks, if I ever see a lottery ticket, and hopefully everything will work out for me, and that'll be the last time I see you folks. I mean that in a very kind and loving way, of course. Over here we have a bear taking care every day. All day. Every time I come through. That's his spot. Okay, the first animal we're going to see over here is the red Letchworth. They're all laying down except for that one. You'll notice that they're downward dog slope to them. They are a marsh antelope, and that's why they're here. This is our marshy antelope area after the rainfall. That's another one of our part of our bachelor herd of fallow deer over there. In Africa, after the rainy season and all that rainwater subsides, leaving behind that. As we come down to the bottom of the hill over here, we have a mother and her cub. The cubs will stay with their mother until the mother has finished teaching them how to be a bear. She's got to teach them how to forage for food, and then also how to interact with other bears they might encounter. So she's got to teach them how to say bear please and bear thank you, and how to play bear chess and bear checkers. You'll also notice when you look at our brown bears over here that they have a hump on their shoulder blades. That hump on their shoulder blades is a muscle, it's not fat. That makes them stronger than black bears. But they're not very good tree climbers because they have straight claws. They'll also sit there in this water over here, and they'll do that all day. So there's this one bear over here, he's counting his toes. The other one's blowing bubbles. The other one I think is just taking a nap. You know, it's a really rough bear life, isn't it? Over here we have another mother and her cub. I see the cub is up here, mama's back there. Once again, the cub will stay with the mother until the mother's done teaching them how to be a bear. She's got to teach them how to forage for food, and then how to... When the park was built, the estate requested the builder set aside some acreage to be for indigenous species through New Jersey. That's this 52 acres here. Most of the acreage is on that side. I can tell you we have the New Jersey Devils also over there, I mean the ride. Sasquatch could also be back there, but nobody's ever seen him. He is, after all, the hide-and-seek champion. Sucking up all that water, purifying that water. They're doing photosynthesis and producing a heck of a lot of oxygen, and that's why the temperature drops a little bit while we're here. Only the adult males are red in the red kangaroos. Everybody else is gray. Male kangaroo is called a jack or a boomer. A female kangaroo is called a Jill. Baby kangaroo is called a Joey. When the Joey is born, he comes out of the birth canal and follows a saliva path into the mother's pouch. Now we might get lucky right here. There they are right here. The Joey in a pouch. When the Joey is born and they're in the pouch, they get a very specific kind of milk for their stage of development. Very specific kind of milk as an infant. They get a very high fat, high protein milk. Then they become toddlers and they come out of the pouch and they start toddling around in front of their mother. Earlier. But they're the only bird species to have a calf muscle. That makes their walk very unique. Their walk is so unique it was used to be the walk of the velociraptor in the Jurassic Park series of films. Stripe and a white underbelly. She's absolutely beautiful and she knows it. A number when you think about it. Anybody else scared by that number? Just me? Well, that tells me is by the time some of these kids here grow up and they graduate from high school, we will not have any wild Siberian tigers anymore. And what's also scary about that is conservationists have no way to reintroduce a population of Siberian tigers into the wild. They can't teach them how to hunt, so... These 5 tiger cubs over here were born in Miracle Mama over there. I call her Miracle Mama because she gave birth to a litter of 5. Normally a litter of tiger cubs from one mama is 2 to 3 cubs per litter. And she gave birth to a litter of 5. As we come around the corner over here, you can see a mixed herd of black buck. They're on the hill over here too. As you look inside the herd, take a look for some of our calves. We have about 15 to 17 calves in there. They're hard to locate because they're just smaller than everybody else. They're the same color as their mothers, and they can hide behind their mothers very easily. Calf right there. We do have a little calf, should be right here, for one. About 2 weeks old, lying in the ground. Baboon, and that's how they establish their social order. Some of them have red bottoms. Most of the red bottoms are the females. The darker red that bottom is, the more willing she is to mate. I call that the baboon dating. You know, I have big teeth, and I can take a big bite out of big teeth. They are kind of threatening.
Baby, это. Happy? Happy भयो baby? I'm happy, Nana.
I'm a happy.
Baby, are you happy?
I'm a happy.
Okay, good job.